Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about a time where my malignant narcissist ex-husband had a secret phone. Yes, honey, that's what they'll do. So you think that if you think your husband is letting you have the password to his phone or having access to his phone, which mine didn't, but if yours does, that doesn't even mean anything if you're married to a narcissist, honey, because they will go out and have a whole secret phone behind your back and you won't even know it. And that will be the phone they'll be doing their dirt on. In his case, he was probably doing dirt on both of his phones, but I never looked at his phone, so I don't know. But well, I take that back. I looked. We had a shared phone plan, so I did have access to his phone, and I did look. But I'm gonna tell you how I looked in the story. This is a funny one. It just popped in my head today, so I thought I'd hop on here and share it with you guys while it was fresh in my mind. This is just a funny one, right? Okay, so here it goes. One day, I was taking a shower, and literally, this is how it happened. I recalled the fact that I had a pink Motorola Razr sitting in the drawer in our bedroom. And I remember that I haven't seen that phone in so long. Like, I was wondering what happened to the phone, my pink phone. And it's almost like, I want to believe the Holy Spirit called it to my mind because it was something I needed to ask about and something I need to investigate. So it was something that was just recalled to my mind. So I got out, and I'm a spirit led person, so I'm going to give that credit to the Holy Spirit. So I got out of the shower, dried off, went to the drawer that I kept the phone in, opened it up, and nothing was there except the box. Yes, I'm one of those people that keeps the boxes to the cell phone for some ungodly reason. I don't know why I do that, but I do. It's not like you ever use the box again. And I was like, now I'll tell you how long ago we were married, because that's how back then these pink Motorola Razrs were in. Well, I had since upgraded to something else, but I still had that phone for a backup. So I was sitting there like, I think I need to ask my narcissist about this. Of course, I didn't know he was a narcissist then, but that's what I'm going to call him here now. Um, so he came home from work, and I was like, honey, um, I fabricated a story. I'm not gonna lie, but our whole marriage was a fabrication, so I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, one of my coworkers' daughters lost her phone, and her mom wants her to have a phone for safety reasons. And I was looking for that pink Motorola phone that I had, and I was going to offer it to her to use until she got a new phone. But when I went to look in the drawer, it was gone. Do you know where it went? And he was scrambling and starting to sweat because he sweated. Beads of sweat started forming on his head, and he was like, "Oh, why would I know where your phone is?" And then I kept badgering him for an answer, and he was like, "Oh yeah, well I think it's in my car." Really? Why would my phone be in your car? And he was like, "Well, I think it's in my gym bag." And then I was like, "Okay, well, let's just not even worry about why it's in your gym bag. I just need you to bring it in the house so I can give it to my coworker for her daughter." Then he starts scrambling around, and he goes out to the car, comes back in the house, brings the gym bag, opens the gym bag, digging through it, no phone. So where did the phone go? Why it's not in your gym bag? I don't know where it went. Okay, and then he said he had to go to the store all of a sudden. Why do you have to go to the store? I just got to go to the store, the grocery store. So he goes to the grocery store. Back then, something told me to go onto sprint.com because we had a sprint plan, a shared sprint plan. And this is where looking at his phone comes into play because I didn't really look at it any other time. And I logged into our account, and I could see in real time that he called someone while he was on the way to the store. And I'm thinking, okay, he has to hurry up and go to the store. Just got off work. Now there's an emergency to go to the store. Why didn't he go to the store on the way home? That was just an excuse to get out of my house and go make this phone call. He called his uncle. That's where he got all his advice from. His uncle was a player, right? So he goes to the store. He comes back, and I know he had been talking to his uncle the whole time. Comes back home, comes in the house, and had a bag from the grocery store, but still didn't have the phone. Like, where's the phone? Oh, shoot, I left something at the cash register. I got to go back to the store. So then he goes back to the store, calls his uncle again, because I went back on the Sprint. I'm just monitoring the situation like, what is he doing? What's he scrambling to hide? Why does he keep calling his uncle? Probably brainstorming for ideas. What do I do, man? What do I do? She wants the phone. So he comes back with whatever he supposedly left at the cash register, which was some alcohol, by the way. I guess he really needed a drink after I started asking him about this phone. So, and he was an alcoholic. I'll just add that in there. So he came back, came in the house with the bags from the grocery store. Still, and then I asked him about the phone again, and he was like, I don't know where that phone is. I'm like, well, you said it was in your gym bag, so go check your car, to see where it is. It has to be in your car somewhere. So he went. Then he said then he came back in the house, had the phone, and he said it fell out of his gym bag in the back seat, and he threw it at the wall like with all his force. There's a damn phone. I'm like, oh, well, how's the person I want to give it to supposed to use it when you injure the phone by throwing it at the wall? That's not called for. And then he starts yelling and turning everything around on me. I'm just such an evil person because I'm asking for this phone and putting him through all this undue stress. So put a dent in the drywall, and that's another dent that we have to patch up. And I'm like, okay. So I picked the phone up, and he was like, it don't work anyway. That phone is broken. I'm like, yeah, well, if it wasn't broken, it's broken now because you just slammed it into the wall. But I picked it up and it was really light. And I'm like, turned it over, took the back off. This fool took the battery out the phone, thinking I'm not going to check the battery. And, I'm just going to try to turn it on. It's not going to turn on. And I'm like, well, it's a funny thing about phones. If they don't have batteries in them, somehow they just magically don't work. So I think that's probably why this phone doesn't work, because there's no battery in it. What did you do with the battery? Then he got ultra angry because I'm just not stupid, right? So he was stomping around and huffing and puffing and throwing a temper tantrum because I figured out that there was no battery in the phone. And long story short, I never did get the battery. We just fought, and that was it. Never got the battery. And he just gave me a phone that had no battery. And this was an older phone at that time by then. And he probably assumed I was never going to be able to get a battery for the phone. And that was the end of the story. He thought he had saved himself. Well, the next day, went to work, still had that phone in my purse. I was determined to get into that phone and see what was going on in that phone. So I went to work. After work, I had a hair appointment, went to my hairdresser, got my hair done. So we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, okay, I got to get into this phone. I had already checked Sprint.com and all in the internet and everything, trying to find a battery, and they're not selling battery for this phone anymore. And we were talking, we're like, oh, we can go to the tobacco store. They're probably going to have a battery. So bet. After we were done with my hair, me and my hairdresser went to, she's so cool. We went to the tobacco store. I forgot the name of the tobacco store, but they sell phones and track phones and stuff like that. And they actually had a used battery for this phone. phone for like $6.95. I was so excited. So I got that phone, and we were literally right down the street from his job at this point because that's where the store was. Got that battery, popped it in the phone. The phone came on. I was like, he didn't break it after all. So I'm digging around in the phone. He pretty much, another thing he probably did while he was going back and forth to the store and stalling me for so long is he pretty much wiped the phone clean. With the exception, now one thing, the phone was activated, which wasn't supposed to be. So he went and activated this phone behind my back. My phone. How narcissistic is that? You took my phone out the drawer and activated it so you could talk to your mistress on it. And he wiped the phone clean, like everything was wiped clean out of this phone, except one text message that he had going back and forth with his mistress, or the person I knew that he was seeing at the time. And the funniest part about that was the timestamp and the date, and the conversation was related to a night that he was supposed to be at a meeting for work because he worked overnight part-time at a halfway house. And he was meeting up with her. So this text told the story of that. So it just so happened the one text he left in the phone was telling me, so that night he was supposed to be at a meeting, overnight meeting at work, which I knew he wasn't because he was gone all night that night. He was actually with her. That's the one text he forgot to delete out of this phone. So I ended up calling the number just to make sure, because it didn't have a name. It was just a number, but I could tell by the text it was the mistress. And like I said, the timestamp and the date correlated to that night one of the nights he went missing. I called and she answered. And I said her name. She was like, yes. Oh, so yeah, it is her. So I said her name, and then I told her that I was his wife, and we had a conversation, and she denied everything, and she got defensive, and that was that. I'm like, well, it's all right. I see your whole text messages. I see he's been talking to you on a secret phone, pink phone, which was my phone. So it's fine. You don't have to admit to anything. It's all good. Just let you know, I found the phone, and he's not going to be talking to you on this phone anymore because I have it. So, and they were at work together because they worked together. So they were at work together. So they could talk about it among themselves. They're there together now. So, all right, have a good night. Click. And I was just like, okay, so that's that. My ex-narcissist had a secret phone, which was my deactivated former phone, and it was pink, that he was using to communicate with his mistress. Yeah, that's what these narcs do. And he wasn't even sorry about it. He was trying to keep me from getting access to the phone to see what was going on in the phone. He did try his best to wipe the phone out. He did try his best to disable the phone. He didn't deactivate the phone in time because it was still active when I had put the battery in there. But I just wanted to pop on here and say these are the links that these narcissists will do to keep their backup supplies on hand at all times because they're not happy. Not all narcissists are cheaters. Most of them are because they're not happy with just having a primary source of supply. I was the primary source of supply, but they need that secondary source of supply, and sometimes they need tertiary source of supply. Sometimes they need entire complex fuel matrices like Derek Jackson, like we're seeing with him, where he has millions of followers that are giving him fuel. These narcissists, they're not just happy with having one person and getting fuel off one person. Like they're not happy with that. So that's that. I just wanted to pop on and tell that little story time about my ex-narc's secret phone. Be on the lookout. Don't always think just because you have access to your narc's phone that's the end all be all, because they might have a secret phone. Now, don't get all paranoid. I mean, if you have a healthy relationship, if you're not in a relationship with a narcissist, or there's no need to like go around and mistrust everybody you're with. I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm just saying when you're dealing with a narcissist, this particular type of personality disorder, this is the kind of stuff that they do. So I'm not saying, again, to mistrust everybody and to be looking under pillows and looking under bed frames for fake phone or secret phones or anything like that. Like I said, I am just saying this is one of the many things that a narcissist will do. One of the many things. So I hope you enjoyed the little story time. It was very quick, very brief. I just wanted to pop on here and share, and I'll be back to share more later. So have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Talk to you in a bit. Bye.